The Green Goblin, my Subaru Impreza, is 20 years old. We have been together since March 8th, 2004, the date of my 39th birthday. Over the course of our relationship thus far, it has been struck by 2 deer and a town of Cortland plow truck. Due to the later incident, the Green Goblin is lacking its license plate lights. On the evening of January 26, 2011, the second day of the North American blizzard, I was driving north on Albany Post Road and had just passed Laurel Hill Road in Krugers. I was crawling down the hill that descends to the entrance of the Cortland Metro-North Railroad Station when the Green Goblin began to slide sideways into the oncoming lane, the lane occupied by the approaching plow truck. The edge of the plow clipped the Goblin's driver's side rear bumper and caused it to turn 180 degrees clockwise. No one was hurt, and no other vehicles were involved in the accident. The only injury was incurred by the Goblin, whose rear bumper was now dangling from its body. I was acquainted with the Westchester County police officer who arrived on the scene, and he was kind enough to pull the bumper off and load it into my car so that I could continue my journey home. The next day, I took the Goblin to the Gallon Measure in Buchanan, and Rom and Richard's Genies sewed its bumper back on, giving it a Frankenstein monster look, which I treasure to this day. The only hiccup in this restoration was that my license plate lights no longer functioned, a condition that would soon encumber my commute to work. I traveled to work very early in the morning, sometimes before the last call is announced at the local bars. Since my accident, I've been pulled over, without exaggeration, at least a dozen times. But I only get pulled over during these early morning hours and never at night. Please note that both of these times of day are characterized as having little or no light. Moreover, I never get pulled over when it is raining or cold enough to freeze the inside of one's nose. I think this grading practice is a way for the police to find out who I am and what I am doing. But it hadn't happened in such a long time that I forgot about it, until yesterday morning, that is. Just before I turned into the gas station where I buy coffee, I noticed a Peekskill police cruiser was driving behind me. After the lights started flashing, I drove into the parking lot instead of over to the side of the road. I think I did this partly because I am so fed up with the use of my unilluminated license plate as grounds for possibly suspecting me of having committed an offense, and partly because I thought that once I informed the officer or officers I was en route to my job, they'd let me proceed. But this was not the case. Together they asked, "Why didn't you pull over as soon as you saw our lights?" I replied with a question for them. "Why did you pull me over? I am driving the speed limit, and I obeyed the yield sign." I could tell my inquiry surprised them because one of the officers barked, "That doesn't matter. Just get back into your car." After I got back into my car, one of the partners asked me for my driver's license and registration. When I handed it to him, he added, "Where are you coming from, and where are you going?" I replied, "I am coming from my home, and I am on my way to work at New York Sports Club in Croton." He then asked, "What's your driving record like? When did you get your last traffic violation?" I replied, "I got a speeding ticket back when I was in college." And he finally got to the reason why he and his partner pulled me over. "We pulled you over because your license plate lights aren't working." I told him about the 2011 accident and added, "The license plate lights are missing their wire guts, and I never even knew I had such lights until after the accident. Besides, my car is 20 years old, and I plan on driving it until it dies, while also keeping my maintenance costs prudent." They asked that I please get my license plate lights fixed, and I told them I would bring the goblin back to the gallon measure. After the officer, who took my driver's license and registration, handed them back, he said, "If you ever get pulled over again, don't jump out of the car like that, especially with everything that is going on right now. There were 2 of us. If there had only been one of us, this could have gone differently."